Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, everybody, it's me, True Powers Mine, and this is TPIM SR Live, the People's Show. Today's date, December 1st, 2019, the year of our Lord. It's happening, y'all. The awakening we've been praying for, been longing for. People are waking up to this mess, to this madness. We're going to start off the show with a video that was sent to me a few days back from a confidential informant. Thank you. I need you confidential informants now more than ever. And I'm appreciative of all that you do. Legendary, welcome to the show. Peace and power, brother A1. Peace and power. Welcome to the show. So let's start this off. Let's check this out.
Can't nobody tell us what to do with our babies. They our babies, not theirs. And we didn't want to disrupt this meeting, but we seen where it was going. You're not going to listen to us. And when we not listening to, we raise our voice. She on Twitter. They talking about something else. That girl ain't even got no children. How you gonna talk to me and I got 16 grandbabies and some of them stuck in family school? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. They didn't offer us no opportunity. She said, let me talk to you. You not running for president, I told her. She running for president. I don't want to talk to nobody that can't change things. Look at your education plan. Talk to real people that live in underserved communities. You talking to what black women she talks about?
Me? I am not.
Are you talking to the white collar black women? Because we got them too. Are you talking to black women that come from certain zip codes or make a certain amount of money? We got them too in our home race. So when you talk about black women, all of us work, but we value our children's education because we know that's the only way to get out. So 901 864-5004. Can you repeat the spelling of your S-A, spell my name. Can you speak up again? That's my name.
And who is funding you?
Who funded me? Can I just tell you, we raised GoFundMe money. That's what poor black folks have to do. We don't have no teachers union gonna offer us no money because the teachers union want what they want. But we got the babies. Yeah. We got the babies. We got real skin in the game, y'all. Organization all over the country. All over the country.
From all over. We got together and rolled down.
Since this presidential debate stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because we knew.
Did you watch the debate last night?
For what? They want to talk about what I want to hear. No, ma'am. I didn't watch.
You started in the last few months.
Yes.
Okay. It sounds like you're against one.
I'm not against her. I want her. I'm against her education plan. Okay. I'm not against nobody, y'all. Again, I say, we live here. We don't.
Why wouldn't you not want to be against one? See, this political please give me something ain't gonna work, y'all. What needs to happen, we have to reorganize ourselves and structure ourselves in a way that we effect the social changes that benefits all, so none can be discriminated against. We get our fair piece of pie, and then natural competition can kick into the game. But until we get to that point, we're always going to be running up during election time. Hey, what can you give me, master? What can you give me this, master? The time for guilt tripping somebody into giving is over, man. These millennials do not care. Brother David, Brother Al, Brother King, Brother Marty, welcome to the show. Peace and power, brothers. You see, folks, our agenda at this point is just a joke. Whenever you want to do something, being a gay or transgender or maybe even a pet lover, you say, well, you can't, the black folks can't do it to the black folks. We have almost been reduced to a social meme. And it's quite sad. Let's continue this, and then I want to bring you another clip from a confidential informant.
Don't play with it. We live this.
What did you think of her way of sort of talking to you from the stage, saying, you know, we do want to...
That ain't the way you get my vote. Black people tired of you coming to our community when you want us to vote for you. Come to vote, it's time to vote so you can see the blight in our community. So you can see schools that's almost about to fall on our children. Facilities. Come to us before then. Don't make the city and bring me to the table because I'm not coming. Because I can build my own table and I know how to cook a little bit. So, anyway, we didn't want to disrupt nothing. We sit there and we seen where it was going. Nobody gonna listen to us because you know why? We poor.
Sarah, do you feel like you accomplished?
There it is. Listen to what she said. Nobody wants to listen to us. Listen to what she says right here. Listen to it.
And we sit there and we seen where it was going. Nobody gonna listen to us because you know why? We poor.
Sarah, do you feel like you accomplished?
I think so. She know we there, and she on Twitter, and we gonna blow social media up,
Facebook, Twitter,
and tell people,
Instagram.
Black women vote, y'all. Where I come from, we may be poor, but we go vote every election. Half the parents, it ain't work.
How do you feel about her education plan?
Baby, our kids ain't even making it to college. They get killed on the street, or they can't read when they leave high school.
That's why we're fighting. That's why we're fighting.
Okay, well, you know that thing. I don't have to tell you that. Just like these kids that's at club, we want our kids to be able to make it to club, but we want them to be not to take
Prepared.
classes.
Prepared.
We want them prepared, whether they go to college or not. We want them. And right now, y'all are reporters. Y'all know what's going on in Oakland, California, St. Louis, everywhere in the United States. Our kids are not getting what they deserve when they go to school.
Is there anything else that your group is planning to do?
Bull fucking shit, ma'am. Bull fucking shit. Whenever you live in a system that is predicated on being predatory against you and yours, you're getting exactly what you deserve. You're getting exactly what you got coming. And for you to sit up here and play these mental gymnastics to say, hey, this ain't, no, this is exactly the right way until we change it. Oh, like, oh, she said that from Oakland to St. Louis to New York to Miami to Houston to Chicago, Kansas City, and the rest of them. We all know the same gag. Go to any town, same damn gag. Now, you want to sit here and claim that this is an anomaly or some sort of coincidence. I'm saying shut the fuck up. This is the plan. The system's doing exactly what the system was designed to do. You're not going to get no real knowledge in public school, especially pertaining to self. So you better get out of it. I don't care if you're in a rural school, a suburb school, or a so-called city school. It's the same joke of an indoctrination. Let's continue.
While you're here, since somebody came in.
We're gonna follow her everywhere she goes.
Until she meets with us, we will.
She was the one that said take away federal funding. So yes, her. Anybody can get it when it comes to our children. Anybody can get it. It don't matter. For what, baby? No, man. You know what? Again, I tell you too. Our kids not making it to Morehouse. You know, y'all.
Now that you saw basically a political organization that's based upon emotion and not kind of results, I want to demonstrate to you how people are getting shit done. And it's pretty damn sad. Let's continue. Hold on.
Mr. President, I wish a great success for the Obama Foundation. I am a transgender woman. My name is Dr. Akai Padmashali. I was a sex worker. I was a beggar.
Basically what dudes just admitted to being was a nut bucket for other dudes. That's something that you should be proud of. That's something that you should apparently revere, because he's going to get his fucking agenda pushed. Watch how they break this shit down.
Was rejected by all the sections of society.
That's your
And
freak.
I'm the black beauty, and I love you.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Mr. President, I have so many issues to bring before you as a social activist.
Welcome to the show, Sister Kathy. Now, see, they got social activists on their team. Alan, peace and power. Welcome to the show. Obama sitting there. No tie, notice. He's not wearing a tie, so he's with his people. Brother My One, peace and power. Let's continue.
Founder of Wondere. I was not able to come here today from Bangalore, Karnataka to Delhi because I was facing so much of financial crisis. Did not have money to travel here. I need to thank change.org for getting me here.
Okay. You see how they do that? They fund their people. They fund their little advocates or whatever. Because they are organized. They understand every little agent produce results. Until we get with results and get out of the emotions, get out of the, oh, I want to feel good, ooh, and get into, I don't need to feel good, I'm doing good mode. Oh, it's not going to be pretty.
The issue is, the two things I want to bring, one is the question, one is a request. The question is, when the state terror is against minorities, be it a transgender, be it a sexual minority, be it a class, caste, religious, race minority, when you have been stigmatized, you have been discriminated because nowhere of your reason, and the patriarchal notion and the power is dominating against you, and I want to take my strong objection on it. Right, like the recent, like how do I speak? I'm a criminal before the section 377, which criminalizes because you are a transgender, lesbian, gay, bisexual. And how do I raise my voice against this? The second thing is about the Transgender Protection Rights Bill, where the government is not in a consultative, democratic, transparent way of discussing what exactly the community wants and not the government wants. In that zone, how do I raise my voice? How do I fight against it?
Did you hear what he just said? What the community wants, not what the government wants. What the community wants to have sex with little kids. What the community wants to have sex with animals, chickens and such. Forget what's healthy and normal, because some laws are actually normal and they're based upon righteousness. A lot of laws aren't, but some actually are. This dude's up here rolling around as a chick, actually getting to speak to the, at that time, the president of the United States, to voice his/her concerns. I'm trying to be PC, want to be professional with it, but even I fall short. Let's continue.
That's my question to you. How do I resolve the world crisis? I think across the world, we as sexual minorities, as transgender, facing social rejection.
I'm sorry, but Obama looks like he's about ready to jump up out his chair.
No, like negligent way attitude. We are seeking for love, affection, acceptance. That is my question to you. How do I deal with that?
And then Mr. Obama's gonna go into his tirade. I'm gonna play it, but I want to put this in your mind. Don't forget the accusations or allegations brought up by one Mr. Larry St. Clair. Now, I'm gonna shut up, and I want you to listen to, at this time, President Obama's response.
My request, can I hug you? That's it.
Well, we can have a hug after the event's over. Because otherwise I'll start.
Thank you.
Well, we can have a hug after the event's over. Because otherwise I'll start.
Thank you.
We'll be doing.
I'm sorry, but it sounded like he was pre-coming right there. Just talking about hugging this dude or this female, whatever you want to call it. Them. See, this guy was supposed to be like, oh my God, we got the black president. He's going to do this and that. He didn't do jack. Unless you were a gay or bisexual or transgender melanated man or woman, I guess he might have helped your situation out. But when you get the blowback from all of that, was it really helping you out?
And a lot of hugging, and I won't be answering any questions. But I can't speak to the specifics of legislation in India because I'm not qualified. I have not been keeping pace with exactly what's happening in the parliament around these kinds of issues. But I can answer your more general question. And I think the answer is it begins with what you just did, which is to find your voice and to be able to articulate your views and your experiences and tell your story. And that's true of any group that is marginalized, stigmatized. Finding that voice and being able to tell a story so that the perceptions that somehow you are different are broken down because people start recognizing their own experiences in you. They see your humanity, right? So,
or they see your divinity, or they see your intellectual capacity. At the end of the day, the little fluffy stuff he's trying to say here is true to a certain degree if you organize and network. Meaning you really can pick up the phone and holler at somebody and either goods are moved, goods are exchanged, something is being generated. But just to talk for talking's sake, dude, that's a recipe for frustration. And then after no results are being made, ultimately, people are just going to forget about you. It's a way to maintain the status quo. Talk time's over, kids. It's been over for a hot minute. We're quite literally in a state of emergency as I talk to you over the microphone right now. Been on a state of emergency for quite a while. There's another payment coming up due. I believe it's the interest payment for the Chinese debt. I think it goes down on December 15th, but I can check that. I will check that. But you got to understand the reason why the political scene, the way it's set up now, is a joke unless you start quite literally on a grassroots level. And pray by the time you become national, you don't become co-opted and basically taken over by outside money and groups. We have to build alliances, but more importantly, we have to build physical networks to where we can move people, goods, and resources around. If we can't achieve this, then we're basically just sitting here having a wet dream because nothing will change. The system of attrition, the war of attrition is real. And it's grinding people to the ground. Let's continue. Art, welcome to the show. Peace and power.
This is one of the reasons, by the way, why art is often a powerful tool in social change. Because what it does is through art, suddenly people see for the first time, oh, that black person feels like I feel.
Hold on. Once again, why does black people even have to come up in this conversation, dude? Isn't the most famous transgender in the world a white dude, Bruce Jenner? Once again, they always got to evoke us on some we shall overcome type shit that at the end of the day is very detrimental to our existence, especially being 13% on paper of the population. Now, I know some say, we're way more than that, or Some would even argue we're somewhat less than that. It's kind of odd. We always come up as 13% of the population, no matter what census you've been looking at over the past 50 years. When we look at how we have been railroaded, folks, how economic opportunity that was supposed to be set aside at the time for Black males, because at that time, most females were fortunate enough to have a man about something that could provide a little something for her and the babies. Not so much today. So now the daughters have to get out there and compete with the sons for the artificially limited resources afforded one through a career, occupation, or a job. This is what Judge Joe Brown was trying to illustrate to us when he said that population and prison incarceration goes hand in hand. It's a mean of offsetting labor. Instead of having these young men run around here stealing and eating out people's food reserves, we'll just lock them up, make them break rocks, and help this man stay out of a financial situation. But let's continue and listen to how tender Obama is.
Or that woman is experiencing something that I should be able to understand. There's something we have in common. Or that person of what has been considered an inferior caste. Turns out they have the same kinds of hopes and dreams that I have, right? That moment of recognition is the basis around which you begin to build political movements. Once that voice is there, hopefully others join you, right? And so now you have networks and organizations and allies. And one of the things that I think is important in terms of any effort to bring about positive change is thinking about the allies that you are that are available to you. Your issue may be climate change, or your issue may be gender equality, or your issue may be public health. But the question then sometimes is, can you find the intersection between those issues? Is there a way, if you're working on public health, to engage with environmental activists, because it may be that improving air quality is a key public health issue, but it's also a key environmental issue.
Damn it, Obama. Always has to say some common truth and logic. What he's trying to tell these uninitiated, unwashed people is that you have to find common cause and purpose to build a bridge, to create a coalition, to fight the entity that you both collectively want to overcome to achieve your sense of justice or freedom. See, this is why there's really no excuse for President or ex-President Obama. There's really no excuse, because he knows. He knows. He could have done so much. In fact, and I'm throwing this out there in the universe right now, and thank you, Most High. If you want to help the family, then for real, you should make the welfare to where if the man and woman stays together, they actually get more than if she is by herself. And you can justify it by saying, well, the dude should be paying child support or whatever, or the female should be paying child support. So this should be a two-way street, whether the man gets the kids or the woman gets the kids. The family stays together, and it creates a bond. But then you're like, well, you're creating systemic. We already have systemic racism. We already have systemic poverty. We already have systemic dysfunction. And a lot of this dysfunction is directly tied to lack of economic viability on an individual level. But it does have a group look. Let's continue.
If you're a transgender person and you're seeking, to be recognized and have full equality, well, you need to be speaking with women's groups generally who are concerned about sexual assault, right? And so forth and so on. So finding those alliances, I think, then become important. And then once that happens, it's a matter of applying political pressure and being able to mobilize public opinion. And that's going to take some time. It's what we just talked about earlier in terms of how we can get discouraged sometimes because progress does take some time. But you should take some measure of hope by just looking at what's happened in the United States and in a lot of other countries around LGBT issues generally. I'd like to think I'm not that old, even though, my hair is a little gray. But Michelle thinks I'm still cute, she says. But
His body language always like, man, I can't believe I just said that lie. Hold on. Because of what Larry Sinclair is saying is real. I don't think Miss Shelby think that shit's cute.
My hair's a little gray. But Michelle,
watch his body language. Look at his body language. Lips kind of cocked. His eyes are looking down, like there's a teleprompter in the audience there. But it's not. This is all teleprompter free for those who care to know.
Thinks I'm still cute, she says. But
that little smirk right there gave it away.
When I was in college, so this would be back in the early 80s, it was just beginning for persons who were openly gay or lesbian to have student organizations. The laws on the books were still discriminatory across many states in the United States. And so now there is just an open acknowledgement, even among many conservative parties, that we should not be discriminating against.
Yeah, come on, let's just be real. Because a lot of those rich ass conservatives have faggot little sons and lesbo little daughters. And the only issue was back in the day, that was the one issue that even the poor or whatever could be like, man, you a piece of shit, blah, 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 whatever, move on. But they can't do that. No, of course they're going to be for that. This is the culture of death molded with the culture of perversion. Because the sad thing about it, and this isn't an indictment on the homosexual or transgender or bisexual or whatever the fuck. It's just that why don't you guys just be open and honest and say, hey, your ideal or style of sex is perverted. It's distorted and kind of unnatural. Just say it like that and be real with it. And then do what you got to do. But don't be billing this shit as, oh, this is the way to be, when, this is how it should have been all this time. Because that's some crazy bullshit. And it's a lie. Now, do I believe that gays and all that should be married legally? Absolutely. If a man and a ham sandwich or a woman and a cucumber wants to go walking down the aisle or go up to the judge and say, hey, I love this cucumber, I love this sandwich. And, the sandwich is going to make medical decisions for me when I can't speak. And if I'm in a coma, the cucumber can decide whether the life support is turned or not. Yeah, They can go for it. That's on them. They have that right. But don't be trying to make laws, or don't be trying to bring that bullshit into indoctrination places such as schools where kids are literally forced to go. Unless you take the time to homeschool, kids are literally forced to go. You have to hear all this indoctrination by law. Now, as long as you want to keep your freak show on the sidelines and where you do what you do, that's on you, man. That's on you, girl. But the moment you bring that fucking craziness out here in the streets and you're like, this is the way to be, man, come on, y'all. We can do better. There is enough room for every ideology, every flavor, every style of human being on this planet. But when it comes to our leadership, and when it comes to true religious organizations or any type of organization, righteousness should be the key. The ones in leadership positions should be held to the letter of the law. The ones at the bottom, case by case basis. But we got to flip the script. We want the motherfucking janitor to be drug free, but the senator, well, you know, he can pop a couple of Oxycontins and go up in there and vote. He can do a line of cocaine off that little intern's belly button. Yeah, that's all good. Two things need to happen to get this place on track. One, all governmental officials in office needs term limits of only 2 terms. Sorry, Charlie. So that way you can't fuck the system up that bad, because you're going to have to deal with it sooner than later. Secondly, there should be a true social safety net for all citizens, whether they be unborn, born, young adults, or elderly. There should be a social net for all those categories of people. Thirdly, if you're not a citizen and you desire to be a citizen, without subsidizing any one industry, the only avenue would be through military service of only 8 years. Active duty service, with option to actually go to retirement and retire with a full pension from the military. If not, then at that time, you will be given citizenship status and enter the United States and be welcomed like a brother or a sister, because you actually was willing to put blood or your flesh in the game for this. No more just come across the fucking border. I know a couple, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, nope. Now, if you're born here, that's your birthright. That's the benefit of, you know, laying with an American girl or getting stuck by an American lad. That will end all this nonsense, and then we can start building value once again and being a citizen of a republic. Because if we're not talking about Republican farmers government, then ultimately, boys and girls, all we're talking about is a change of hat. We're back to the king. We're back to the empire. We're back to fucking nepotism and people being put in positions that are ill-equipped to manage. But because they know so-and-so, it's all good. Just a few more moments, and then we're going to move on.
Persons because of sexual orientation. And that happened, you know, with respect to human history, amazingly quickly, right? In the span of 20 years, basically. Now, in the span of one person's lifetime, that can seem painfully long. But it requires a steady education of the public, and then a political strategy that puts pressure on elected officials, and that's going to take some time.
And that's going to take some time. Not enough time, because this joint is fast running out of said time. I had to go here, y'all. I know a lot of you guys. Hold on. Oh, It startled me. U.S. debt clock. I'm just going to stop. I just want to see how much you guys owe. For real. For real, though. And it's not that bad. In fact, it really hasn't changed too much. It's still only $186,949. That ain't too bad. Let's go here. Population of African Americans in the United States over the past 50 years. Okay, let's just check out. Uh-oh. This is kind of sketchy. Millions. Interesting. Not quite the information by race. Okay. White, black. Okay. It seems like in the 1940s, you only had a couple races. It looks like it was black, 9%, at 89% white. Then the 50s, 10% black, still 89% white. They must not have been keeping track of the other folks. The 60s, 88%, 10% black. 70s, 87%, 11% black. And then this is, the 80s. Now we're at 83% white, 11% black. 90s, 80% white, 12% black. 2000, 75% white, 12% black. I mean, they had a downfall of 5%, and we had a net growth of only 0.2%. That's crazy. And here in the 2010, 72% white, 12% black. If you don't see the trend, it's rapidly going down. And when this reached 50%, that's typically when civil war happens. That's typically when, hold on. There was another one I wanted to share with you guys before I thoroughly forget. I'm only bringing this to you because my niece and my nephews, or my nieces and my nephew, came to my house to visit me today. And both of them are young YouTubers, you know, or the vast majority of them were, or are. And I was trying to explain to them the COPA. This is a pretty serious thing that most people don't understand. Now,
this COPA law is.
I don't know. I've seen this guy's video before. He's cool. You know, I think he's more of a gamer, more of a Star Wars guy. But just listen to what they have to say real quick.
To protect kids, but of late, it's been a real bane of existence for us YouTube creators. Because now COPA doesn't just protect the name, address, and phone number of children. Now COPA requires that no web cookies of children can be accessed, and therefore YouTube is subject to this new law. As a result, content on YouTube that is directed to children under 13 years of age, these channels will be demonetized. They will no longer have YouTube channel features like notifications, like info cards, like end screens. My main problem with COPA is that it's not narrowly tailored to address the harm. So the harm in this particular case is that YouTube, the FTC, does not want personal information of kids under 13 in the hands of predators. But this new law, this FTC amendment, and also the new rules that YouTube has implemented, they don't narrowly address that. They don't solve the problem. Roberto, what's your thought on this?
So I agree with you, and I thank you for bringing me in on this. I mean, there are a lot of issues with this that I personally have as somebody who mentors content creators and somebody who's been a fan of content creators. I've been in the YouTube community since 2005. Okay. OG, right? I've been I remember watching content on YouTube, gathered around the kitchen on my friend Malcolm's laptop. It was 6 of us guys, and we were just watching these funny videos on the internet. And now people turn that into a full-time job. Some of them have created businesses. They are job providers. And I feel that, one, this irreparably harms them in their business. And then I also feel that one of the bigger issues is this removes viewer choice. You as a viewer of content now are going to lose communication features, your ability to give opinions. Your speech is really on the line here, and you did nothing wrong. And that.
Oh, yeah, you're just whining. Hey, Brother David, don't be muting Brother King, man. He's a good brother. He always has something good to say. You know, this is freedom of speech. This is the unknown trolls out there that we need to, protect ourselves. But those of us who's been around for a minute, man, we can speak our minds freely around here. And that includes Brother King. All right. Now, they're basically, it's almost kind of scary because to me, these cats are really tripping on the COPPA thing. Now, for this channel, this COPPA thing may actually be a blessing in disguise. Because we are already not designed or geared towards children. You don't see no SpongeBob bullshit up in here anyhow. So it's gonna, hopefully these platforms, I guess the logic is it's gonna start drawing more of an adult crowd anyways. But to all these cats out there that want to play fun time, the gig's up for y'all. I'm sorry, that's just what it is.
Viewer choice. You as a viewer of content now are going to lose communication features, your ability to give opinions. Your speech is really on the line here, and you did nothing wrong. And that's one of the issues that bothers me with this. But also, I don't really feel that this properly does protect children, to your point, Ian. I have a young nephew who's under 13, and this isn't going to help if he just decides to make a YouTube account and say that he's over 18. There's nothing.
Now, why would you say some crazy shit like that? As if the one or two kid that never thought about that, he's just going to put out, well, all you got to do is just go around and do it. Come on, man. You know, this is the culture of death, man. Kids should be protected from a cartoon that starts off, hey, my name's Mickey Mouse. And then it ends up with the damn animated feature putting a dildo in Minnie. Kids should be protected from Mr. Hey, my name is Mr. Rogers. What neighborhood are you in, kid? And try to hook up with some child over the internet because child's looking for attention. And they actually appreciate somebody sending them some sort of damn present or some whatever. That's the type of foolishness I think everyone could agree on needs to end. It's one thing purposefully going out here trying to debase these kids' minds, these children's thought process with your sickness and perversion because somebody done it to you. You want to go ahead and justify that by replicating that experiment and doing it to another. That's wrong. That's unrighteous. That's what we all should be against. If you take out that deceitful nature and you replace it with humility and wanting to serve righteousness, that's the win. That's when we can start building true bridges. Start mending wounds and sewing up gashes, stopping the bleeding. Until we come to that fundamental universal reality, nothing's going to change, kids. Oh, there'll be some sweet talk, some little pillow whispers. But this time next week, you're going to be in the same position you're in this week. But after that, Probably gonna be grounded down a little more. Because food prices are going through the roof, y'all. The roof, the roof, the roof will be on fire. And don't worry, y'all. It's gonna burn. This is what happens when you get a bunch of people who truly and sincerely loathe you as your leader. They'll go back to their masters who they truly serve and truly recognize as brothers and sisters of their set. And the rest of you guys can perish. You're like spoiled milk, just waiting to get poured down the drain. And I bet you while that's happening, buttermilk will be looking at white milk, which will be looking at chocolate milk, talking crazy. But you're all still going down the drain.
Nothing that protects him. Now, granted, he's breaking terms of service if he does that.
Yeah.
But does that mean that he's not entitled to any protections for his behavior online? He's still going to be vulnerable to this. So I think that the problem I have with this is that between YouTube and the FTC, none of them offered more tools to creators to protect their community and their environment, and they didn't offer tools to viewers because I still believe that the best hands are our own. I still believe that the best people to protect children are their parents, and I believe that as content creators, we take the responsibility of protecting everyone in our community, whether they're under 13 or not, and I think that giving us tools to be able to be more responsible and to govern our content, to govern the behavior of our communities, and to be able to...
Why would you even want 13-year-olds listening to your shit? I'm sorry. Straight up. If you're under the age of 13 or whatever, like they talk about, and you're hearing the show, please turn it off. You're not ready for this. Don't, live your little fantasy for a second. And when you get about 18, 21, 24, damn sure if you're in your 30s and shit, holler at me. Come on back and listen. I want you to be a kid and I want you to enjoy your life. Be a child, make those mistakes. Now, if you're one of those smart children, though, and you're digging what I'm saying and you understand righteousness and you understand unity and you understand networking, then absolutely, don't blow your cover. Do not blow your cover, young man, young woman. Because a lot of the good advice that people sincerely give you is just to make you a better wage slave. Make you more conformative and more appreciative of your position on the plantation. Don't you realize you're a football player? You're getting good money, boy. Nowadays, you still got the field slaves out there, actually in the weather. But then you got this medical breed, the telemarketer slave. Don't forget the gas station hordes. Fast food nation. I mean, for real. A lot of people come from these backgrounds and dynamics, but then there's still the blessed chosen, the trust fund kids, the beautiful ones, the ones that never had to worry about flipping a burger, never had to even contemplate swinging a hammer. And they're living this reality the same as we are. I love them as well. They have a role to play. Because liberation is going to come. It's really just a matter of what kind of freedom will you enjoy. Some would say we're as free as we're going to get right now. This is it. This is the epitome of freedom, the United States of America. Now, those are people who are probably very, poorly traveled. There will be a one nation government or one world government. I'm sorry, y'all. You guys are too stupid, too ignorant, too hateful to unite. So those who have united in common cause and purpose are many and vast, and they are going to come upon you and crush you. They're going to teach your future bloodlines, those bloodlines that will survive, to despise you. They're going to point out how wicked you was, how you did nothing to stop this nation, society, from collapsing. This will include TPIM SR Live. I want to sincerely thank the listener, thank the viewer. A little bit of a tough time for the show. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm trying to just focus, but I have to meditate immediately. So I'm going to end this broadcast. I'm going to go into deep meditation. I promise you, I'm going to bring you something new and fresh the next time you hear this voice. We have to get back on the mission of preparing the future for what is to come. I want to say thank you. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you for all those who have walked with me thus far. We got a lot more miles to go. Hopefully you bought another pair of shoes with you. I'm going to continue the show. I had to contact Dr. Short. He has tried to call me several times. Several other people. We're going to get our guests back on, and we're going to get this thing back cracking. Because this is what you guys need, and we have to utilize our time. No matter what obstacles are in front of us, we have to overcome them, because the mission is more important than any one situation. And the mission, my friend, the spirit I come with every time I power up this machine, is the spirit of liberation. By God, if we don't have liberation, then nothing else matters. And that's what I would redouble my efforts, my friends, my brothers, my sisters. Thank you for bearing with me. Extremely difficult time for me personally. But your spirit that I feel in reality, the comfort of God Himself. I'm thankful and I'm blessed. And I sincerely ask you, live your life with integrity, without hate, envy, or greed. As always, brothers and sisters, I sincerely ask, please be kinder to one another. Peace in our power, unity in our victory, dignity in our respect. Liberation. I'm out.